Wayne Gretzky joining us on the show. Did you have a nickname before the great one?
No. I was 10 years old, and a reporter friend from a little town down the street gave me that nickname when I was 10 years old, and it stuck forever. Never got a different one. Never had anything else but that.
But did you have players who would kind of mock you? Oh, you're the great one, or like, was it ever used against you at any point in your career?
No, never really in the NHL. Maybe when you're 11, 12, and 13 years old, kids are kids. That if I had a bad game or didn't play well, there'd be somebody that might say, he's the good one, not the great one. But never really in the NHL. Never had to deal with that.
If you played in the NHL right now, finish that sentence. And now, not at your age now, but I'm saying, I don't know.
Ty Cobb from the movie.
Yeah. Could you play in the NHL?
You know what? It's a different game. These guys are bigger and faster, and progression. You know, we've come a long way. The hockey is better today. Goaltending is better. You know, you have 30 teams in the league, and pretty much every team has a goalie that's very capable. So it's a different game. I don't know. There's more power plays now, which I would probably enjoy. That's probably the big difference.
Which team would you want to play for?
Whatever team's going to win the cup. You know what? I loved where I played. New York, L.A., Edmonton, St. Louis. You know what? I got treated great in every city, so if I could go back and play for one of those teams again, I'd be happy.
But style-wise, give me the team you'd like to play for.
Well, listen, I love the way Daryl Sutter coaches. I think he's really one of the best coaches in hockey. Really enjoyable to watch his team play. I don't know, probably maybe the Hawks, because I could like to get Patrick Kane the puck. He's a pretty good player.
Is Chicago a dynasty?
Shaping up that way. In this day and age, to be competitive for 3, 4, 5 years, I know they got 2 championships and 7 games away from a third. If they win this year, we can start really kind of focusing on that. It's something pretty special. It's harder to be a dynasty in this day and age with the salary cap system. Your homework and your scouting has to be flawless, and they seem to have done a very good job of that. And you got to get a little bit lucky. They got Taves and Kane in the first round, and Duncan Keith, and they can build their team around those 3 guys. And you know, it's a nice squad to watch. That's for sure. It's going to be an unreal series.
If there was a fantasy draft, who would you take first?
Crosby.
He's still the best player.
Crosby's the best player in the game. I don't think it's even a question. Now, if you're Chicago and you got Taves, there's probably nobody in the league they would trade him for other than maybe Crosby. So, you know, Taves would be probably a good 1B pick. You're not going to go wrong if you had the second pick and you got Taves.
What about if I included goaltenders? You'd still go Crosby? If you were going to build your team, and I said you can have anybody including goaltenders, who you take?
I'd take Crosby. He's the best player in the game. In my estimation, anyway, my belief is he's the best player. But you can't win without a goaltender. Jonathan Quick's pretty good, and we saw that in Game 7 against Anaheim. You got to have a goaltender, especially in this day and age, or you're not going to hoist that Stanley Cup.
How do you figure out goaltenders with tendencies? Because it's like hitters when they're looking at pitchers.
Yeah.
Like, did goaltenders have tells for you if you're playing a poker game that you would look for certain things out of certain guys?
Goaltenders are kind of like relievers of baseball. They're a little aloof. You know, they're their own people. You know, they beat to their own drum, and you leave them alone. You know, the game's too fast. I hear people say, oh, they're shooting high today, or, boy, he picked that corner. You know, when I was playing, I just put my head down and shot it at the net. You know, the game's too fast unless you have a clear-cut breakaway and you know goaltender might open his legs a little bit more or he might poke check you. But other than that, the game's so fast, you just got to fire it at the net, and if it doesn't go in, hopefully you get a rebound or a screen, and it does go in. But
you didn't pick like a small hole that you knew you could go. When somebody says, oh, you got to go top shelf or you got to go 5-hole, like you just fired it on goal.
Pretty much. You know, I was pretty accurate, though. That was the one thing. I didn't have a hard shot, but I was pretty accurate. I could get it to the general spot 9 out of 10 times. You know, the greatest goal scorer I ever saw was Mike Bossy. if you ever saw Mike Bossy play, he never missed a chance that he got. You might as well go back to center ice. He was that good. But he was probably one of the guys. Brett Hull was the other guy that he could put it wherever he wanted, and he shot it hard.
Do you have to have like scores in basketball? Like you have to want the ball, and you just there's that thirst to always keep scoring. Was it the same way for goal scorers that you're never satisfied?
Oh, absolutely. Brett Hull, Mike Bossy, Luc Robitaille, myself, there was nothing better. I mean, we wanted to score one. If you got one, you wanted two. If you got two, you wanted three. That's how we were sort of brought up. It's exactly like that. And it's probably like a hitter going to bat. It's 4 for 4. He wants that fifth time at bat because he sees it so good. And that's exactly the way goal scoring is.
He's Wayne Gretzky joining us, Dan Patrick Show. Do you ever feel sorry for a goaltender during a game?
Never. If they're going to be silly enough to get in net, then I feel sorry for them.
Now, we had Jeremy Roenick in studio, and he would just talk about what goaltenders would do. That he would, they would like go up between your legs from behind with their stick. And were goaltenders dirty to you?
No, but they were very guarded of their territory. Billy Smith was probably the best goaltender I ever played against. And probably comparable to Ron Hextall. They could wheel that stick pretty good if they wanted to protect their crease area. You didn't go too close to either one of those two guys, I'll put it that way.
And Roenick said Messier intimidated. Like he made him nervous when he looked at him one time during a face-off, and he said, I saw that jawline. I immediately put my head back down, and I said to the ref, just drop the puck. Like he just didn't want to look at Messier.
I practiced with him every day for 10 years, and it made me nervous, and we were on the same team. He had a presence about him that only one other player, I think, ever in hockey had, and that was Gordie Howe. And yet they both had a great deal of respect from each player, and they were both Hall of Fame great players. So there's no question that in the 80s and 90s that Messier was the most probably intimidating player. But in saying that, he was probably the nicest guy, too.
But I always thought, can I say he's underrated? Does that sound strange to say Messier was underrated?
Well, he's not underrated in the eyes of the players and the people who saw him play every night, his teammates and his opponents. I mean, he would be rated, I would say, in the top 10 greatest players of all time, and then you start debating and arguing to move him into the top 5. But he was without question one of the greatest clutch players I ever saw. I always tell people the best player I ever played against was Mario Lemieux, and the best player I ever played with was Mark Messier. So I don't see how he could be underrated. He was a superstar.
Did you ever get in an argument with Messier?
No, we never did. That's, him and I used to kind of giggle sometimes that, you see superstars on teams that don't get along, and one guy's fighting and one guy's debating, and there seems to be tension. We never had that. If he scored 3 goals, I was like, I got the 3 goals, and if I got 3 goals, he was happy for me. It was like he got the 3 goals. It was a really unique friendship and relationship, and maybe because we started both so young together. We started at 17 in Edmonton together, so maybe we were kids, just kind of grew up together, and you always take care of your best friend. That's kind of the way we looked at it.
What's the oddest place you've been recognized?
Oh, I was in Croatia one time on a trip with some friends and family. In this little island somewhere out there, I don't even know where we were. And some guy said, "Oh my gosh, Wayne Gretzky," and I almost fell off my chair. It still boggles my mind sometimes because I can't recognize anybody. I recognize you, and that's about it, Dan.
Wait, you're around these people. Okay, who not intimidated, made you nervous being around them, celebrity-wise, famous person?
Oh, you know what? I don't know if I get nervous, but I got a great deal of respect. I really have a great deal of respect for Derek Jeter and what he's accomplished, what he's done. I love athletes who thrive under pressure. Guys like Magic Johnson and Larry Bird and Michael Jordan. Then you got guys, to me, George Brett and John McEnroe are 2 of the greatest clutch players in the history of sports. And so I got a great deal of respect for those guys because the bigger the game, the more fun those guys had. Consequently, the better they performed. And that's what's amazing to me. And that's why those are the kind of players that I really idolize the most.
Last time you asked for an autograph?
Oh, gosh. I can't even remember. Nobody gets autographs anymore. Everybody wants a picture.
Or jerseys.
Jerseys? Probably the last jersey I got was from Derek Jeter. I was putting some jerseys on my wall, and I phoned and asked him for a jersey, and he sent me one. So that was probably the last time I got a jersey signed by another athlete.
Wait. How's that? So you just pick up the phone and you're saying, I'm missing, there's a space here. Let me call Jeets. Is that how it works?
Yeah, pretty much. I see your place decorated with everything that you have, so I kind of said, geez, I better get something. So I got a Derek Jeter jersey.
Now I have your Rangers autographed jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's a good one to have. Great place to play, man. It's the best at Madison Square Garden. There's nothing like it, and that city's probably on fire right now, up 2-0.
But that building, though, but best ambiance for hockey. I always thought Chicago Stadium was unbelievable, but
yeah.
Okay, where does Madison Square Garden rank?
It's pretty special. Chicago's unreal too, as you said. LA's been unbelievable in the playoffs. I mean, their fans have been as good and as loud as anyone. Brian Leach used to say it best. We'd be getting ready for a game, and he would say, "There's nothing better than a game at the Madison Square Garden on a Friday night, Gretz." And it wasn't. It was electric. It was just incredible.
Help me with this as the father of 3 daughters.
I'm probably the wrong guy to ask for advice on that.
Really? Should I ask Janet about advice for this? I mean, your daughter's famous.
You raise your kids the best you can, and the great news is that you just want to be respectful to other people. And we're very proud of the fact we got 5 great kids. I got a little girl 11 and a girl 25 and 3 boys in between.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure this out because your daughter is getting up there to be as famous as you are, Gretz.
She's more famous than I am. It used to be people in Canada would say, "Hey, how are you?" or "Where's your dad?" Now it's Paulina with you. So life has changed, Dan.
Oh, hey, good to visit with you.
And then the next question is, "Where's Dustin?"
Now, are they getting married?
Supposedly, yeah, sometime in the fall. I just kind of I'm like every other father. You just kind of wait till you get the information. You wait for them to kind of tell you, okay, this is what's happening. So I'm no different than every other father out there. You kind of wait for what they tell you.
Wait, you got to pay for the wedding. You should know what's going on here, right? You have to pick up the tab.
I hope they elope. That would be really good.
Good to visit with you. Tell Janet I said hello.
All right. Well, listen, always love talking to you. You guys have a great day.
Thank you, Wayne. That's the great one, Wayne Gretzky.